Welcome to 3Bs on a Mission, where we don't sugarcoat, we don't bypass, and we definitely don't stay quiet. This is your space for truth, transformation, and a little bit of, oh, damn, I needed to hear that. So if you're ready to evolve, expand, and maybe outgrow a few things, let's go. All right.
Go.
And we have our very, very first podcast guest today. This is our girl, Sean, also known as our baby mama, affectionately, right? At least my baby mama. I don't know about all y'all baby mamas, but that's my baby mama for more than a decade. Okay, so our girl, Sean, is joining us today, and she's got some amazing stories to tell, share with us. I think I heard them the first time, or have heard them the first time, Sean, like last weekend, but I only heard pieces of them because I just was not all there. If we know what if you know, you know. So she's joining us today. Sean is amazing, as you guys are gonna see, and there's a reason why she's first on the podcast, because she deserves that billing. And so we'll let her tell her story, just to kind of introduce her a little bit. Sean is a former Baltimore police officer years and years ago, right, Sean? How long has that been for you?
At least 1988, many, many moons ago.
Yeah,
in our terms, eons. 2001. Yes. I haven't been there since.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
The lady.
So, yeah. Okay. Yes. So Sean was a former Baltimore police officer. Her and her husband David, and now is a personal trainer and gym owner. So we're gonna be putting her stuff in our podcast for anybody that's looking for those services. This girl is fire. So
she also does Zoom.
Beyond fire. Oh, that's right. And she also does Zoom. That's right. Thanks, Tali. I forgot about that. Yeah. So if you aren't in the area, she will also personal train with you over Zoom. We're going to get into all that. But before that, you ladies want to do some affirmations before we get talking to Sean?
I can't. All right. I don't have one.
Tali's done. She's like, I'm already tapped out. I don't have an affirmation today. Okay, G, do you got anything?
Yes, okay. I got one.
I got one. She got one. Oh, she's just pulling it out of the air. Okay, go.
No, I got one. My existence pays for itself.
Boom. All right, Tali. I love that. All right. Bam. Look at that. You just pulled that out of nowhere. Okay, G, what you got?
I'm worthy of all the success I desire.
Okay. All right. I like that. Mine this week is I radiate unapologetic confidence and magnetic energy.
Nice.
Fuck yeah. Sean's got one.
I always have
okay,
one.
Sean.
I have a very custom one. Yeah, so mine is I walk in faith, not fear. With my king, what's for me, what's for me is for me, and can only be for me. I go forth fearlessly and free. Amen.
Boom. Damn.
Get it.
She's just, look at that. She's like a natural.
Also,
yeah,
right.
Go ahead.
I also want to point out.
I study this book. It has affirmations nonstop, like good ones.
Oh my God. Look at that. This is why you're this is why you're fresh, Sean.
Yeah. And this is exactly. And y'all sat us in the room together. And we're
God,
what is it called?
right.
I always call it light throwing. What is it?
Oh, I never do. I always just say I'm an energy disturber.
Energy disturber.
I'm an energy disturber.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we put
both
y'all two energy disturbers in the same room together. So there's a light show happening behind y'all.
And we're both all in black. So
yeah.
Of course we are.
Exactly.
Why the fuck wouldn't we be? So and then she opened her book and she's got this picture.
The same poster as Tali in my book.
It's over there.
Stop it. Okay.
There's always,
there.
there's no coincidences in the divine universe, but there's always a coincidence.
Oh my God. I couldn't make it up if I tried. Like the energy is just like fire.
It's
so
already
sorry
popping off.
Yo, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
100%.
That
Okay.
was Joanna's picture upstairs.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, how
Oh,
crazy
she's
is it
connected
that
too.
Sean just showed up with it? So, okay, we're
Yep.
already having synchronicities right off the bat. Boom. Here we go.
Mhm.
Okay. It's just going to be like that, I guess. Uh, anything you guys have that you want to share before we get into, stuff with Sean or everything, like anything popping off today, this week for y'all?
I'm flying out in less than 12 hours, so I'm just kind of here or
Trying to
there,
get,
trying to get grounded,
trying to
girl.
stay grounded, yeah.
Listen,
Yeah. I hear you.
James Brown, I call it groundation. I don't even know if that's really a word, but I use it so much other people use it. And it's like, I don't know, I'm seeking groundation today. And that
exactly.
basically means
Hey,
leave
I
me
love
alone.
that.
You
I might
right.
start
You
using
you
that.
were talking about
Yeah,
juicing earlier. Shit, I
oh,
should have had you bring me some damn juice.
I should have because I made a really good juice and I made like a gallon of it. This morning I juiced, I did all my shots, I did my lemon ginger cayenne shots, I did my turmeric, ginger, black pepper, pineapple shots. I made
Wow.
those this morning and I made 2 separate juices this morning.
And that's
Wow.
One
just
was one was really good. I
that was
actually
before,
I
after the
can
gym, and all the other shit you'd be doing.
yeah,
Girl,
I did it all. I've been up
the
since
hell?
5 o'clock this morning. I'm mopping my floors 'cause I'm old.
Mm,
Because
And
I'm
'cause
old.
it's grandma. I
same.
had to get it
Okay.
out the way.
But just so you know, so Sean and I are the same age. We both have 2 grandkids. Um, this is
Yep.
when you say, like, I'm definitely the white version of it because I definitely crack and show it. But this is, wow, the beauty here. I just,
The beauty
damn.
the beauty is abundant between all of us.
Yeah.
There's no
It.
there's just
That's it.
different
Oh,
there's
That's it,
just
Sean.
the
different
aura is
variations.
just give me some of
There's
that.
no same thing.
Yeah.
Same.
Listen, if it wasn't, we wouldn't all be in listen, if it wasn't, we wouldn't all be in the same soul tribe, okay? Cuz like Sean is definitely somebody who's a member of our soul tribe. There's no doubt about that. This is one of our people right here. We all share that same goal, mission, and energy. So,
My people's
yes, we are your peoples. Okay. Right. All right, Sean, let's get to know you a little bit. So, one of the things that we like to do is like tell us about what led to your awakening or like the opening of your gifts and your purpose. How did you come in to all of this? Was there a moment for you or how did that happen?
well, I've been able to communicate with spirits since I could talk,
Okay,
honestly.
so
Like I
this
told
has
'em I know
always
you
been.
guys I was telling you guys a bit ago that every house that I've ever lived in would be considered haunted, or there's spirits in every house that I've ever lived in. There's always
Yeah.
been all sorts of weird phenomena. But this is ancestral for me. So my grandmother has this gift. My mother has this gift. All of my
That's
children
a
have the gift, and my grandchildren have it as well. The only person in our
wow.
family that does not have gifts is actually my husband, but he is a catalyst for us all. So if he's with us, then our gifts are amplified and we're able to do things that we wouldn't ordinarily be able to do. But to say that he has any sort of gifts besides the American gift of support would
Yeah.
be a lie.
Okay.
He just supports
But
us.
he's the reason that your gifts are so strong because
Right.
he's your
Oh yeah.
catalyst. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Right.
And actually,
Yeah. This is not just
speaking of him, I think you shared with us before that you realized that you and your husband David have shared multiple lifetimes together. How did you come to realize that?
at least 5 to 7. We've
Okay.
been told that we shared at least 5 to 7 lifetimes. And one day him and I were sitting on the couch in our room and we were talking and it's kind of just like me and you sitting here and I had my hand like on his leg and it was
Yep.
almost like an infomercial started going on my head. The ancestor started immediately telling me like just basically saying that this is the reason why this goes so smooth and the reason why the two of you work so well and are so in love with each other is because you found each other again in this lifetime. You always
Yep.
find each other. And that he is the catalyst for my gifts. And him and I are so intrinsically entwined that he is in tune to do things to heal me without even knowing. So, like, he
Yep.
repainted our room and he repainted it as the ancestors told me what he repainted as was a healing frequency for me to be able to power down and to be able to let my gifts rest. It's no effort at all. You know how you look at your kid and you're like, this is my baby. This
Yep.
person is of me. This person, this is my person. I've
Yep.
been saying since I met David, he's my person. And I've
Yep.
never said that about anybody or thought that of anybody, but he's very much my person. I was told he's been my person in many, many lifetimes. And I was also
Yep.
told that we've switched roles. Like, I haven't always been the wife. Like, we have been in many different forms of relationships together, and we continue to find each other in every life. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm also told that I'm over 500 years old. And
Yep.
this is, of course, not my first life. I've had many lives, 7
Yep.
to 9, but they were short,
Yep.
and the reason why they were short lives is because I was told that I was have always been plagued by, and this is what is called flim flammers. This is how you know my ancestors is old. I've always been plagued by addiction. In every life, addiction in some way, even if not in my immediate life, keeps me from moving forward. You know, like even in this
Interesting.
life, addiction plays a part, not for me, but for my family. So I was told that
Crazy.
I'm moving differently. I'm moving differently this time in life, and this is why I'm going to able to get further. I've also been told that this is like the life where I am here to dig deeper into what I'm supposed to know and do and my purpose. And I think this time my purpose was shown to me later in life, or I found it later in life. And this is why it's going a lot
Yep.
differently, right?
Yep.
I've been
Yep.
told by the ancestors that I am a game changer for my family. And I believe that. An
I
example of it
believe
is
that.
so my grandmother died of diabetes, heart disease. My mom died of lung cancer. And all the things that created the illnesses for them that killed them, I've never indulged in. I've never been able to eat meat, right? I've never eaten meat, which is the cause of how my grandmother died. I've never smoked, which is how my mother died of lung cancer. Like all of
Yep.
these things. And my mom was smoking since she was 9. My
Wow.
grandmother healed everybody through food. And I mean good fried food, okay? Like I mean like fried
Yeah.
crab, you know, like fried hard shell crabs. Like
Yep.
she retired from a place called Leon's Pig Pen. So you can only imagine
Stop.
my girl is making like hog dogs. Like seriously, like I
Oh
remember
my
her
God.
like throwing down and she fed everybody, right? Like that's how she
Wow.
showed love. And I don't
Yeah.
even cook. I don't even
No.
cook. Like I am the severe game changer in that family because that's not how I show love to people. I show
Yep.
love to people by actually
Come work out
making,
with me.
yeah, work out with me. I show love through
Yeah.
healing, through workouts and
Yeah.
through making custom teas for people and juice
Yeah.
and
Yep.
using my gifts in that way to
I
share,
lo-
to be able to share and keep my community well. So
You make herbal medicine.
I do make herbal medicine, and I have to share, not right the second, doesn't have to be the second, but I have to share to you what my spirit card was. Just last Friday, it was pretty cool because, you know, sometimes we all know, sometimes you just get messages that you
Yep.
know are for you,
Just
came
resonates
straight
hard.
from the universe, and you're like, wow, I was supposed to know that. Like that was a big deal for me, and you just
Yep.
know that that was for you. So I just got a message on Friday, and I was like, cool, cool, cool. That was definitely what I needed to hear for what I had been feeling at the
That's
time.
amazing. That's amazing. I want to comment before we move forward. I want to comment about your relationship with David because we've known you for like 15 years now or so.
Yeah,
Same as I've known Tali. When I first learned about, because this was all new for me and for G, like I don't know if we've even shared this with you, Sean, but that G and I were actually activated into our spiritual awakening by a divine
yeah.
counterpart.
It's called ascension.
Yeah, exactly. And so when I thought of the phrase divine counterpart, because like in our family and in our life, like we never observe this kind of relationship. Okay. Like there's
Mm,
nobody in our ancestral line that I could point to and be like, yeah, that was their person, or that person has followed them into multiple lives. I, like you,
yeah.
have had 7 lifetimes. Okay.
Mhm.
And so I'm old as fuck too. And it makes
Right.
sense because like your soul just knows, like it just
That's
knows
what I was gonna
certain
say.
things. Yeah, yeah. But what I wanted to comment about you and David is like when I met you guys, there was always something that was very notably different about your relationship. When you say that too, Tali, I mean, we've all seen you guys together.
I admired their
Yeah.
Yeah, because
relationship, all of it.
when you see a divine relationship, okay, that has that has reincarnated lifetime over lifetime, like you just described between you and
100%.
David, you can't deny that. Because when
Yep.
you see the two of you together, like you just said, it is the easiest
Fire.
flowing relationship ever. And there is such admiration and love between the two of you that's
It's been what, 30
listen,
years?
you I
26
mean,
this year in
okay,
June.
So
listen,
awesome.
that both of you would like legitimately like run through fire for one another. Okay, like
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like I think you both probably
100%.
would,
Yep.
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
And
we do
I'm not joking.
sometimes. I have before.
Exactly. And you
Right.
probably have in your past
Yeah.
lives. Okay. And so, so I just wanted to point that out because that's one thing that has always been notable for me was like, okay, yes, I have seen this kind of a relationship and it's with you guys. And so I
Yeah.
just wanted you to know that like that's made an impression, at least on me, that I understand what that is.
You know, I also contribute that to, how, you know, it's as grandmothers, right? You have such deep wishes for your grandchildren, and you manifest things for them, right? So I always say my grandmother cussed like a sailor. Her favorite word was motherfucker. Everybody was a motherfucker, and you could kiss her ass, and she really wasn't that sweet and fuzzy, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't that sweet at all. Okay, but if it was time to go to school, that woman would wake me up so soft and so gentle, and she would say, baby, get up, and she would be so kind and so sweet to me in the morning, like
Mm,
something I've never seen, like a part of
yeah.
her that you never really see her get to show. And every morning she would say, okay, baby, be prosperous. I want you to be prosperous. And she spoke that into me, right? She
Wow.
spoke that into me, and I
Yep.
contribute my success now to that and to her
Yeah.
wishes. So I tell people all the time, I'm just a product of my grandmother's prayers, right? And I
Yes.
think my husband is also a product of my grandmother's prayers because
100%.
I was raised by all single women. Like seriously,
Mm,
there was no relationship like mine that I can think of when I was growing up. So I didn't even know that that was a possibility. I
yeah.
never even expected that for me. I
Wow.
expected I was going to be a strong black single mother like my mother was, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
I was going to build a community like my mother did. Beauty salon may be involved because it always was, and that
Yep.
usually is the center of a strong black family because that's how I was raised. That I was gonna need to get a girlfriend with a hair salon so I could go there for therapy, like that type of shit. Like exactly.
Like
We
Tali.
going. So,
Come on.
Okay, right
but
there.
listen,
Let's go.
I'm so serious about these things. Like these are the things that I thought that I planned for myself. That these are just like the small dreams that I had, right? I didn't have
Right.
big aspirations to have some fairy tale wedding or meet some man or anything, right? I'm not
Hmm.
gonna lie to you, the man was only for the baby for me because I've always wanted to be a parent. So I knew I'd need a man to get the child. Not that God knows that's not how that works now. But I thought I'd have to need the man to get the child in order to be happy. So
Yeah.
I never wished for a relationship, a successful
Mm,
relationship. I never wished for a loving or caring partner. So I call
wow.
David my ancestral gift. He was
Yeah.
my gift from the ancestors because they
Yep.
knew what I would need to heal and be supported to be able to really be the game changer in our family. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he's such a blessing for that. If I didn't have him, I don't know if I would have got here as soon or ever, right? Because you need a
Yeah.
soft, loving environment or at least just a safe place to be able to ascend, to be able to
Yeah.
actually understand the gifts that the ancestors are giving you because I think all of us can agree when the ancestors start talking to you when they start like doubling down, you really start thinking that you're losing your mind. You're like, what
Yes.
is
Okay,
happening?
well, when I wouldn't listen, girl,
Mhm. Yeah,
there was birds that would fly into my head.
yeah,
Like,
they don't play.
oh my God, I'd walk out a door and get attacked by 3 crows.
Yeah. Well, funny. I wonder if there's any significance with three crows because I saved three birds. They actually didn't. And listen to this story real quick. I came outside and there was a bird's nest and that the birds had built on my house, right?
Mhm.
Came outside and there was a bird on the porch that clearly needed help. It was very, very new. It looked like a little dinosaur. And you guys know I'm obsessed with dinosaurs. It looked like a little dinosaur, but I was like, It's no way." And I had to save this bird. I felt like I had to save this bird. But as soon as I
Okay.
saw it, three little birds kept playing in my head, right? One bird, but three little birds
Yep.
kept playing in my head, right? So I called the
Yep.
wildlife rehabber and asked him if I could bring him this bird. And he said, absolutely. The whole way there, I'm playing three little birds, right? Save this bird.
Oh.
I'm talking to this bird. I drop him off. And while I'm there, the rehabber says, just so you know, you don't, for little starlings, you can take care of them yourself. You just have to
Oh.
give them some blueberries or some mealworms, but you have to feed them every 15 minutes. You know, if you absolutely can't, you can bring them back, but you can do it yourself. I said, okay. I drive back and there's another one on the step. So I come back and I'm like, well, I probably should have just kept the other one because this one's going to be bored. So I go and David used to work for animal control. So he makes a nest. We do everything. We get the bird set up. We immediately start mixing food and we get this bird. This bird goes from like barely living to all of a sudden thriving, right? Go to the store to get some blueberries and some mealworms. So I come back as another one on the porch. Okay, this is my three
Stop.
little birds, right? Nope,
Is the
this is
mom
my
still
neighborhood
in
Stop.
the
bird.
house?
So I
Now they're
told
all
David,
grown.
listen, y'all know I'm crazy. I said, back up, pull out the driveway. Nope, he's not ours. We already saved the other one. Pull out the driveway. That one's not ours. I've done enough. Like, we're done, right? So, of course, we did, and we saved them. We patched them up with the other. And now I got two birds, Kevin and Birdman Jr., because that's what I named them. Of course, I did.
Kevin.
So, yep, Kevin from Up. So, Kevin and Birdman
And
Jr.
Birdman
are
Jr.
now my kids. And,
Stop.
I grew up in the hood, so I'm scared of birds, right? I've only now invested in these birds because it can't die. Like the mom in me has to help these
Yep.
birds, but I'm
Has to
terrified
nurture
of the
'em.
birds, right? So I'm handling them in towels. I'll only wear gloves to handle them. I'm feeding them with tweezers, right? I'm really getting nowhere near these birds. David is the only one handling the birds. By the second day, it's getting a little better. By the end of the week, I am carrying these birds around in my hand. I'm hand feeding them. I'm doing everything to take care of these birds. I went to work. I came back. I was gone for an hour. I came back. David said, the birds aren't doing good. I said, what do you mean? I just left. Like, I've only
Mhm.
been gone an hour. What do you mean the birds aren't doing good? I walked
Wow.
in. Kevin wasn't doing that great anyway, but as soon as I walked in, Birdman Jr. perked up, walked right over to me. I put my hand out. He right went into my hand and died in my hand.
Stop.
He
Stop.
came
Um,
he used all his energy he had to see me when I came in. He was so excited. He came right to me. He came right up to me and I took him and I held him and he died right in my hand. And David was
Yep.
holding
oh,
Kevin and Kevin passed away too. So we were both sitting there. Mind you, I done went from being completely scared of birds, won't touch it with anything, to sitting there with two dead birds in my hand, bawling my eyes out. Yeah, I was so distraught
um,
about my three little
Oh
birds
my
and I
God.
played and that's all and that song just kept saying in every big end, but that's all I kept hearing was those are your three little birds. And now I'm not scared.
Mm.
I would definitely save a bird from here on out, but
Yeah.
I would never see myself like doing that. So I ended up with
Hmm.
three little birds. You had three little crows. G had three little birds. Like I
Not
wonder if
little.
Something
They were
about
not
this.
little.
yeah,
No, no, no.
I wonder if there's
That was my angry
I wonder if
ancestors.
there's some significance with coming in
Yeah.
contact with three birds, like if there's something
It
spiritual
has to
in
be.
that in itself.
Right.
We missed the point, and there's a point of awakening or ascension for a lot of people that they're visited,
Maybe it's just the next
by
level.
maybe birds.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
so you talk about like your ancestor work or whatever. I know what's different about you that none of us do is you have an altar. How did you start that? Like, does it enhance like hearing?
So the ancestors told me. So I don't know about anybody else, but if there's something I need to do, it's everywhere. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram. I will talk to somebody and they say, "Oh yeah, I'm feeding my ancestor altar." It won't. It will be an everyday occurrence for somebody. Somebody is
Hmm.
telling me about an ancestor altar, or on Facebook, a YouTube video is popping up. The grandkids will be watching about the ofrenda, right, and feeding their ancestor altar and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It will just kind of keep hammering at me until I realize why
Mhm.
is everything about an ancestor altar, and am I
Mhm.
supposed to be doing that? So, I watched this documentary and it was about Mother's Day. It was about mothers and Mother's Day. And it was just about, it was in my mother's garden. I suggest that you check it out. it was beautiful. It was about Black families and it was about connections with moms. And it also was about the same things we were talking about, ancestral gifts and things being passed down and having grandmothers that do, that practice, that, speak to Oshun,
Yep.
just everybody, like the Orisha gods and stuff like that. These things I
Mhm.
had never heard of, but I would keep hearing like Oshun in my head. And I would keep
Mm.
hearing all these things that did not make any sense. And now all of a sudden they're being presented to me daily. So you have no other choice but to look into it
Right.
because it's
Yep.
not going anywhere. Like,
Right.
but I like to say that I'm slow and that's why the ancestors get
Oh
mad
my
at me
god.
because it
I think
takes me
she
a
is my twin.
minute. It takes me so long to
We're just
figure
hard-headed,
out
girl.
what it is that they need
What
for
the hell
me.
do you want?
Yeah, like what
I
is
need
it?
you to I get numbers and I get
Yes.
songs
I
and like I
used
did.
to, and code too.
Yes.
And code, and it's
Okay.
like, okay, you must think I'm smart. This isn't the Lifetime work. Like, that's not this one.
They're
Like,
like,
this
"Bitch,
ain't
you're
this ain't
old. How
that.
do you not know? How do you not remember?"
But if I
Okay,
keep
bitch, you've been
getting
around for a minute.
right, if I keep getting, but that's the thing. They'll get mad at you and say, you know this.
Yes.
They'll
Yeah.
get mad at you and say, you know this. This is not new for you.
And that's when I get
They'll
hit
Yes.
tell
with
you to
words.
they'll tell you to slow down. Well, luckily I don't get assaulted by it is
Maybe
more
I need an altar.
it is more light you should. It is more
Mhm.
light phenomena. So in this documentary that I was watching, they were talking two families had ancestor altars and they were talking about pouring libations before they traveled and all these things that I didn't know. And the whole time I was watching it, I was being told, this is important to you. This is important to you. This is
Mm,
important to you. So the next day, I started setting up the altar and I knew exactly what to put on it. And I knew exactly what needed to be on it. And then I
that's
realized that
crazy.
I've been setting up, I had actually had been preparing for an altar my whole life. When my
Wow.
grandmother died, her Bible was passed down to my mom. There were so many things in the Bible that were important spiritually to our family. My mom had it for 40 years after her mom died. She put all the things that were important to her in it. And
Wow.
then when it became mine, I immediately start doing that because I had already seen it ancestrally done. This is our book. This is where you put the things, right? This is where you put the things that are important to our family. So I'd
Yep.
already been kind of compiling the things. When my grandmother died, I kept her eyeglasses and I didn't know why, but I knew that it was important to keep her
Wow.
eyeglasses. When my mom died, I knew it was important to keep her eyeglasses and I also didn't know why. Certain jewelry passed down from like my fourth great grandmother that is so delicate, like all these things. But when I would get them, I would feel a charge.
Yep.
I would
Yep.
feel a charge, like a jolt of energy, like
Yeah.
these things are important. So I had already been cataloging them. So when it was time for the
Wow.
altar, I knew that I would need to give offerings, right? I would need to present offerings. So offerings for me are like a lot of times I don't eat oranges. I buy oranges just for the ancestors because they're sweet. So I'll peel an orange or
Mm.
two and I'll sprinkle them in cinnamon for abundance or sugar for abundance. All things that I really know nothing about, right? But I'm just told to do these things or I
I don't
feel
know why
yep.
I'm doing this. I'm
Yeah.
making some orange juice.
Or I just feel called to do these things.
Right.
I always put fresh water on my altar for the ancestors.
Okay.
I always my mom died of lung cancer, but let's face it, she loved cigarettes. I always put fresh tobacco on my altar to
Okay.
honor my mother, right?
Yep.
So and it's all about honoring your
Yeah.
ancestors. If it was I mean, you don't want to conjure like serial killer ancestors. So I'm not saying put like a
Oh,
No.
good God,
I'm
no.
not saying like put a murder knife on there or anything, or if your grandmother was
Okay.
strangled to death, the root the hell that you found or something. I
Oh
mean
my
more
god.
so like David's grandfather was I told you guys was a lineman for the phone company.
Yep.
So
Yep.
for him I put his hard hat on there, to
Okay.
honor honor David's grandmother. I put a wedding picture of them on there that I felt charged
Okay.
to put there. And I burn incense, and that's also where I put all my money candles, my ancestor candles, my Oshun, all those candles.
Okay.
And I only just know to put these things there. It's not so,
That's
like
funny.
I did after I started doing the altar, I started thinking, well, what's supposed to go on the altar? And it was already set up. It was already,
Oh my god.
what I needed. So like I always have my meditation bowls. Those were already right there in that area. A lot of crystals, a lot of stones and
Wow.
crystals. Okay, like
Nice.
a lot that just called to me. Like
Yep.
also, like I don't know if crystals called to you guys. I never knew anything about crystals.
Yes.
I woke up one day and was like, you need obsidian. And I was like, who is
Yep.
obsidian?
Where do I
Who is
find him?
obsidian
Who is he?
kid? Does he sell weed? Who the hell is obsidian? Right?
Who's obsidian?
And then it's like
Am I gonna be able to
tourmaline.
roll
And
him?
it's like tourmaline. They got some jacked up names. I'm like, shit, they must be twins. Obsidian and tourmaline. And what the hell are they gonna do for me? And then to find out, no, that wasn't what it was about at all. These are crystals that I need. And then all these crystals start coming to me. I don't know about you guys, but I get a lot of things in my
Yes.
dreams and I wake up and I'm like, what the hell is
Yeah.
and why do I need it?
Yeah.
Oh, especially with
Yep.
herbs. First it was crystals. Now it's all about the herbs. But then if somebody
Interesting.
needs something or if there's healing work to be done and you research, and you're like, oh shit, I got everything. I have
Yeah.
everything because I all of a sudden was told that I needed rose quartz in my sleep. And then all of a sudden was
Mhm.
told that I needed tourmaline in my sleep. And now it says
Mhm.
that these are the things that I need for meditation. These are things that I need to have to deepen my meditation. And I already have them. Anything that I ever need to
Hmm.
heal. First, I've already bought the herb that I didn't even know.
Yep.
Just call.
That's
I was told that I
amazing.
needed yohimbe. I was
What?
told,
Yeah.
What?
yohimbe. Exactly. I'm like, what the hell?
He's related to obsidian.
That's what I'm saying. First cousins. So,
Yeah, of course they're first
right?
cousins.
Blood boys. So I find out. So I
Yep.
go to the store and I'm buying herbs, and I'm like, oh shit, give me some of that yohimbe. And she's like, I don't even know what it's for. I said, me either. And I'm at the botanical. Right. And she's like, nobody ever buys this. I don't even know what it is. So we look it up. And it
Yeah.
has all these powers, but it's also pretty dangerous. There really
Yeah.
is no like a fine line on how much you should take
Oh my
or
God.
Great.
if it won't give you a heart attack. And
So
for
it's either gonna
Oh.
cure you or it's gonna send you
Kill
to
and
your
ya.
for
next time.
listen, and then for
Next
men,
life.
it could be like, and it could be like for anxiety. It can also be for
Yeah.
men to like be aroused. It has all these
Oh,
weird things, and it's
jeez.
like, why do I need that? And then
Yeah.
I buy a new herbal book, and it's like you can substitute that for your yoembe, and I'm like, oh, cool, I got that. And I
I
will
got it. I
substitute.
don't
Yeah.
need
This
it.
is why I have it. This is why I have it because I was going to need to substitute this for this. This would work better for me over that. And I do. So it's just, just like you guys, you just all of a sudden know things. And it makes you think you're
Yeah.
crazy because
Yep.
how do I know?
Yes.
Yep.
And you
Yep.
know it in such
Yep.
detail that
Yes.
it's also
You
like
do.
either I'm shit crazy
Yeah.
or I'm very smart.
Okay, so for me, because obviously you got so much shit going on, like I know you don't know all of our stories or whatever, but for me, girl, I thought so I woke up 3 years ago and I just stayed quiet because again, who
Yep.
the fuck am I
I
walking
do that.
around and being like, oh
Oh,
yes,
hey.
I know this. Hey,
Yep.
I see things. I knew this was gonna happen before I walked in the room.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I walked in the room and now I need to leave because everybody thinks this person's great, but my skin is crawling.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And so how do
Yeah.
you say any of that? So you just go,
You
you
do.
just don't.
I did.
See,
I did.
See?
That's the
That's
difference
like
between.
me.
hmm?
However,
No, but
I
see, that's like me too, Sean.
past my husband. Yeah, I ran
Right.
all these things past my husband. Like, babe, I woke up and this, and he's like, huh, okay, right? He didn't judge me. But also, when I go to the gym, I tell people, you might think I'm crazy. They call it woo woo stuff. Some people
Yep.
call it woo woo stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
You
Woo
might
woo.
think I'm
Oh,
crazy,
yeah.
but
That's woo woo.
this happened. They're like, you always have woo woo stuff happen to you. I love that. Like, and people are very receptive to me telling them what's going on. And also, I mean, I'm somebody's grandma. I don't give a shit if you think I'm crazy. This is working for me. Gifts help me.
Mhm.
These gifts help for people.
Yep.
I'm always where I'm supposed to be at the right time, weirdly, to do these things. And my husband's friend, somebody was shooting outside of acupuncture. I'm so
What?
serious.
Just shooting
No, not
guns.
yeah, somebody. So I went to
Right.
acupuncture. This was at her old office. I'm laying on the table. You know how acupuncture goes. I'm laying, I'm face down. She's already got the needles in my back. And I'm right up against the window in her old office. And I hear, bah, bah. Okay, I'm black, police officer, you name it. I know gunshots when I hear them. So I pop my head up off the table and I'm like, nah, this is a double backfire. I don't know. White people got stuff that sound like guns,
Oh,
right?
good God.
Totally popping up to it because this is my healing safe space, right? This is not
Right.
the mode I'm in. Now I'm in the mode to regenerate myself. I'm not thinking that anything could happen in this situation, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
put my
it
head
does.
back down. Before I put my head down, now it sounds like it's right up against the window.
What the hell?
Okay, I'm
Okay.
at
Yeah,
nowhere.
nowhere near where there should be shooting.
So I have needles in my back. I jump off the table with the needles.
Mhm.
Okay. Immediately grab my gun out of my bag.
Mhm.
And I
Of
think I
course.
have to help everybody. I have to
Yep.
help everybody. Y'all, I go running out the room and forget that I got needles in my back. I don't have on a shirt.
Mhm.
Okay. I run
Nobody's
out
buying
the
it.
room.
Here we go.
Right.
Fuck it.
I run out the room shirtless with a gun and 100 needles in my back.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
So as soon as I get to the door,
Sounds about right.
I feel a breeze on these itty bitty titties and I jump right back. Okay. I instantly knew I wasn't going to be able to save people that way, even though I can hold them both in my hand. That wasn't the move. So
That's
I
amazing.
jump back. And as soon as I jump back and turn around, Tennille comes right behind me and snatches the needles out. I mean, it was almost like simultaneously.
She's
as
a
soon as I
ninja,
knew that
okay?
I wasn't going to be able to help people that way. She starts snatching the needles out of my back. God bless my good friend Tennille. She's the bomb. So I
Yep.
snatched the needles out
Yep.
and I immediately throw my shirt on and I get out and I remembered I'm with my friend. And I hear everybody screaming and upset, but I don't hear my friend, right? And she lives in Bushnell's Basin, and I'm like, her husband's
Oh.
gonna think that I done brought her to the hood and she got killed. Okay, like
Oh my
God
God.
forbid that anything is wrong with Jen. So I'm running through the office looking for Jen. I get her. There's actually a family in the office, and there's never a family. There's never kids in the office, right?
Mhm.
So I get there, and people are just in a panic. And I am like, get into the bathroom. I put everybody into the bathroom. I get everybody away from the windows. And then her husband appears and the two of us are there. And I'm like, we have to go outside. We have to make sure that everybody is okay. And everybody's like, we can't go outside. Like, we don't need to go outside. We're all safe in here. And I'm like, yeah, we're all safe in here. But here's the thing. If there's another client that was outside that was getting out of the car, it is up to
Yeah.
us to help that person. It is up
That's
to
right.
me. All I can, if I'm
Yep.
safe, I have to save others. I don't know anything else, which is probably how I became a police officer, right?
Correct.
As soon as I make sure I'm okay, I have to make sure everybody else is okay.
Yep.
So of course, not another black person in sight. Who's outside? The only black person, 5', 100 pounds, with a gun, clearing the whole parking lot, checking next to cars and under cars, and making sure none of her elderly clients aren't out there,
Yeah.
dead. And then to come back. So when I told my husband's friend, he was like, "God damn, everything always happens when you're around." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Sean, I cannot make up all of the things that I know
Yeah.
that happened just with you being on your way to
Yeah.
like meet us. Crazy
Yeah.
things like happen." And I said, it's been like this my whole life. It didn't take me until 2 weeks to think he's right.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
am always there. These things do
Yep.
always happen, and I am always able to help. When they
Yeah.
do. So to me, this is no big deal. I'm like, cool. Let's go back. Let's get acupuncture because now I done jumped off a table with needles in my back. Like I need treatment. So me and Tennille, we sync back up and we're like, ready to go. And I'm thinking nothing of it. I go and I tell my husband. So but we ended up at an event for her kid and I was talking to all these people. I was meeting people. And I'm like, my name's Sean. They're like, you're Sean that helped everybody at the acupuncturist office when they were shooting. And I'm like, why are you telling people this
Oh my
story?
Did you
God.
also tell them
That's
I had my
awesome.
titties out?
Yeah,
Just asking.
why are
Yeah.
you telling
Hey.
people this story? Like this
Mhm.
was like something that happened that I thought we would like move on from.
It's
Like,
because you're walking
Yeah.
karma, girl.
yeah, I
That
don't.
You
is
really are.
definitely.
But it's wild how you are where you need to be. Like,
It's because I'm telling you, when we had that discussion when you were here the last time, when you
Yep.
were telling me about like places that you were like, I don't even know why I was here. And all of a sudden this person needed CPR and I was
yep,
supposed to be across town.
yeah,
And I was
Yep.
like,
it's often.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's
Or
because
there's a shooting that happens, or
right.
somebody's been
So you're good.
assaulted, or
yeah,
whatever.
you're karma. You
And
are
then
literally walking karma.
sometimes it's really just like super simple stuff, like the doorbell vet. The people that have the doorbell vet. One day they broke down in the little Prius that they drive that says doorbell vet on it. They broke down. Nobody will help this woman. Everybody is riding past her. It's the summer. I'm like dressed. I was getting ready to go somewhere. I'm outside pushing a Prius up the street in Gucci slides. Okay.
Weighing 80 pounds. So
My
Okay.
big Louis Vuitton Neverfull and Gucci slides pushing a Prius up road alone.
Stop.
And so
Stop.
this woman is just standing out there and nobody is helping her. So I get
Man.
to the gas station entrance and it's a hill.
Mhm.
So now I'm
God.
like, look, I gotta get it up a hill.
Mm.
So this guy pulls over and says, "Why the hell is nobody helping you?"
Exactly.
And he jumps out to help. And then as soon as he jumped out to help, like 3 people jumped out to help. But that woman was out there for like 10 minutes and nobody was interested. But as soon as I get out there pushing looking crazy with slides on, with a big old purse, everybody's like, "I gotta help this woman." And then all
Oh
of a
my
sudden
God.
she's getting gas. Like,
Oh
so
my
it
God.
on so many like weird levels. Or if somebody, or even just like stupid stuff in your purse, right? You
Yeah.
have no idea why
Yeah.
you picked up something.
Yes.
Yes.
I bought a ear camera recently, because I had an issue with my ears, right? And they
Mhm.
were bothering me. So my friend, who's a doctor, my good sister Sarah Perry, she brought me into the office and she cleaned my ears out for me. And then you guys know I don't talk to me. I don't have a great relationship with my in-laws. I was at my mother-in-law's house for something tragic, right? And had to share space with my in-laws. And one of them was for some reason talking about an ear camera and needed
Hmm.
an ear camera to help somebody. And I had never even known of such thing, like I think it's called an
Yeah.
autoscope, something like that.
Yeah.
I'd never even
Yeah.
heard of such thing, right? And he's going into detail about how this thing only costs $14 and he's showing his mom, blah, blah, blah. I automatically ordered one. As soon as
Yeah.
I ordered it, the same day it came, my sister says, "Something's going on with my ears. I really needed somebody to look into them." And I said, "Cool, I got you." And I did, right? Didn't even tell anybody. The next day, somebody says, "Something is really going on with my ears." And then David's mother says, "I think I got blood in my ears." And I said, "Oh, cool. I'm coming over." So then I became the ear person and cleaning out everybody's ears. And I mean, people are like unnerved that they
Oh,
can't
wow.
hear. It's like they're like really
Yeah.
suffering, like having issues. And
Yeah.
here I am all of a sudden really knowing how to work this scope in people's
Yeah.
ears, digging out all this wax. And you know I'm skeeved out by everything.
Mm.
I
But
know.
all of a sudden I'm not skeeved out to be digging in
No.
somebody's ears and looking at all this. And I'm showing, and
Saving
I
birds.
don't play video games. I know how to work the camera in the ear and watch things that I've never done before. So now I'm the
That's
ear
in,
lady.
I just gotta say, Sean, like all of this says to me, like you are like a modern day like medicine woman. You realize this, right? Like you are
I've been
like,
I've been told that. I've been told that by my astrologer. I've been told that by my medium
I'm
and
telling
godmother.
you right now, the whole time you're speaking, that's all I keep hearing.
So my spirit card last Friday said, "Honor your medicine. Stand tall, use your talents,
Okay.
own who you are becoming." Right.
Okay.
Crazy.
And she didn't read
Okay.
that card, and we're
Okay.
all
You
saying the
didn't read
same
that
thing.
card. You didn't read that card, Sean, but the entire time you were talking, all I kept hearing was modern day medicine woman, modern day medicine woman. That's all I kept hearing over and over again. That's why I said it.
Which, when
You
you think
definitely
about it,
are.
would be considered a witch.
You
Which would be considered a
say,
witch in
listen,
my. Do you ever do something you're like, "This definitely got me burned in the past life.
Yes.
I've been
I've
burned for
seen
this."
myself get. Okay. So this is funny that you bring this up. Okay. So I will confirm, and I've told Towley and I've told G, like I have seen, like the reason that we started 3Bs is because we were 3 witches in a past life. I'm telling
Mhm,
you right now. I haven't seen their lives. I've actually seen
mhm,
my most recent last life. It was like in the 1800s. And
mhm.
what I've come to know is that there was no burning of witches that was ever done in America. So this happened. I had a European life, okay, because it looked very like maybe colonial kind of. I don't even know where. Maybe somewhere in like I don't know France, Italy, Spain, somewhere in there. But I was definitely accused of being a witch. Probably same as you because
Yeah,
my gift is about teaching and healing and helping people to come into their gifts
mhm,
inside. So, like you are walking karma, I am a walking activator. So, my role in this life and in some past lives has always been be a walking mirror for people and to be a teacher, a healer, a guide to teach people that like everything you need is inside of you and you
mhm.
have ancestral teams, you have a spirit guides,
Spirit
you
team.
have all of these
Mhm.
things,
Yeah,
right?
I call it all their
And
team.
and I watched
A team.
myself
I just
be
call it a team.
burned for this.
I watched myself be killed by, I told you, by a sword through the chest. Cut me
Yep.
completely in half with a sword that it almost looked like a sword from He-Man Castle Grayskull, which just so happens to be a cartoon, by the way, and like something that has always stuck with me. But Yeah, I was a slave 1800s, and I was killed for being a bit defiant. I was a slave in 1800, and I was told that that's where my activism in this life, my Black Lives Matter activism, my Palestine activism, my Gaza, all the things that I'm out
Yep.
ICE,
Yep.
fighting police
Yep.
brutality every week, every weekend. I'm at least protesting once a week, right? And I can't help it. It's like,
Yeah.
well,
No.
if I'm out on Tuesday, I got to get out and do it, right? And I
Yeah.
always do. I always feel called to do it.
Yep.
And I was told during one of my readings, it's because of me being a slave, and
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
just where that comes from.
Yep. Yeah. It's
Being able
ingrained in
to
you.
just being able to, yeah, it really
Well, and the
is.
thing is too is that all of us, we carry karma from our previous lives into these lives sometimes to
Mhm.
clear things that weren't finished, and so it sounds like some of that is happening for you. It's like you're
A lot.
overcoming some of those things from your
Oh yeah.
previous lives.
Oh yeah. It's
It's
been.
amazing.
I
It's
have a lot
amazing.
of things. I have a lot of things. Well, also, I am the game changer for my whole bloodline.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Past, present, and future.
Mhm.
But I
Get
actually
it.
say that. I actually say, I am here to break ancestral curses. And whenever I say manifestations, I say for me, my grandchildren, and any future ancestors after me, my entire bloodline, everything that I do, I always ask the universe to clear it for my entire bloodline.
I
Like I
love
said, I
that.
was in detail why I was a game changer. I was told that the reason why when I was younger, my mom was addicted to crack, for so long is because I had to have a hard start. That game
Yep.
changers have to have a hard start so they are
Yep.
understand, so they are there for people. Things can't just be easy because then you don't have time to be compassionate for people. You don't have
Correct.
you don't know that people are hurting and you don't know what people are going through, but you are really easy to recognize it if you have been through it yourself.
Yep.
When I was young, the reason why I'm the game changer for my family have to be I was left my aunt and her boyfriend, my TT and her boyfriend were addicts, and I was always left to babysit them and make sure they didn't overdose at a
Mm,
very young age. Like at a young age, I was
that's
already
nuts.
saving lives. At
Mhm.
7 years old, my grandmother had diabetes. I was the one that had to give her insulin because my mom worked. Like I have been in some sort of healing capacity for as long as I literally can remember. I've been
Wow.
I've needed to do something above my pay grade
Yep.
and
Yeah.
understood
Yep.
that I needed to do it, that even though it wasn't fun and I didn't understand why it needed to be done, that I had to be the one to do it, that it was the job for me and never. So that's
Yeah.
always been interesting for me.
That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah. I think we can resonate with that too, Sean, because like G and I, we didn't have easy childhoods either. We came up
We
through
don't.
a lot of shit. Same for me, it wasn't like what you went through. It's always been about having to have teachings and healings and understanding deep spiritual things beyond my
Mhm.
years. Like understanding that when I was really young and honestly surpassing my parents at a certain point, I would say intellectually,
Mhm.
and having to understand and grow and learn on my own. And what spirit has showed me since my awakening is like you've always had this gift. You're wise beyond your years for a reason. You've done this before. You already know. It's like but
That's
that
not your first rodeo.
no, right, but that coming into your knowing is freaking bizarre, okay? Because all of a sudden you're like, "Why do I know this?" And there are knowings that I have right now inside that haven't materialized in my 3D world. But I know that I know some things that are coming, that are gonna happen, that are already
Mhm.
unfolding. And it's like, "How do you know this shit?" It's like you just
Yeah.
do. All of a sudden you
And it
just
hammers at
know.
you too. And it, and
Oh
and
Yes.
my
it's like
god. Yes.
if you start thinking, "Am I crazy?" It's like it just gets more and more detailed. It gets more and
Yes,
more like,
exactly.
how I
Exactly.
know how can I know this in such detail? This is insane. Like
Exactly.
what I told you when I was ascending into 5D, when I was
Yep.
ascending into 5D, which is the craziest thing that ever happened to me. I thought I
Okay,
was losing
yes.
my mind. But I was
Yep.
told that I needed to do a lot of third eye meditation and
Yes.
activation and be able to deepen that. Well, when I did, right, and I really started getting into it, I would see the
Yeah.
Virgin Madonna in everything.
That's amazing.
If I would just look at this computer screen, her face would be there. If I looked
Yep.
on
Yep.
my yoga mat, her face would be there, right?
Yep.
And it would always be like, and it would give me this very much queen mother, this
She's
very
just
much
turned off.
motherly, this very much nurturing, this very much. So then I had an astrology reading, and she's like, Sean, you are, she was like, Sean, you are mother. You are mother. You are the divine feminine. You are like the epitome
Yes.
of mother. She's like, kids come to you. You always have
Yes.
kids. And what she was saying was so crazy because it was so true. She said, "You are here to change rules with young people as far as gender." And I thought, wow, that's crazy because a couple kids that just came to me and told me they were non-binary. We're in junior derby. Little people, right? Expressing to me these things that they're feeling and saying, and I'm like the safe space for them and talking to them and like, okay, cool. Like just like the most normal conversation ever because it is, right? How could you be telling me something that doesn't make sense for you? You're 7 years old, you woke up and you
Yeah.
feel this way, it's to be so,
Right.
right? So when she said that, it's like, wow, like you're right, like I am. And then all I kept hearing was you are, like you are mother, you are the mother, like you are
Yes.
like. And then I was asked the very next week, um, if I could adopt, if I would adopt my daughter who's trans, if I would be her mother, and if I was okay with that, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. And
It's
so that
amazing.
was pretty cool to just, if I feel like I don't know or it's interesting, the universe will loop it back around and make
Oh,
it more understandable, or through
relentless.
somebody that makes it make more sense.
They are relentless about that. Listen, if you are tapped in and you are awakened, they will hound you and put things in front of you until you either one get it or move on something that you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
sometimes, like you said, it takes me a minute, or all of us a minute probably, because I'm just like, no, that can't be. No.
That's a lot of
Like, why
minutes.
am I seeing that? Why am I
You go
seeing
trust
that?
the
It's like,
power.
no.
Do you often feel that everybody shares the same gifts as we do, but for some reason there is some blockage for
Yes.
them?
Yes.
Like this is
Yes.
that everybody
Yes.
does have
Yes.
this.
Yes.
It is masked
Yes.
by maybe mental health, right?
Mm.
In them not
That.
being able to articulate it, right? And they end up getting put on medicine. And
Yes.
like I always think
Yes.
like this is how this has to start for everybody or some version of it or custom
That's
version of it.
correct.
And like, is
Correct.
this how people land in the psych ward because they don't
Mhm.
have
Yes.
receptive to what they're saying,
Yep.
and it's like this person is falling off the deep end. And then
Yeah.
again, like we say, am I going crazy? And then it's
Right.
like, no, I'm not. No, it's
No.
definitely not that.
Yep.
Like, do they just not have the right people to listen to them, right?
I think
And
I think
support
it's a
them.
I think it's a combination of things. I think, yeah, I think mental health does play into some of these things. I think some of the people that are diagnosed with mental health issues actually are awakened in some ways. Like, I think,
Yeah.
especially people who are like neurodivergent, like, I
Yeah.
think they are some of the more highly spiritual people, but they just, we just don't understand that. So we have to put it into a box. But I also think that a lot of people are under a veil, and that veil is intentional from the time we're young, like this programming, this conditioning, whether it's in, our cultural systems, our religious systems, our governmental systems, in our family systems. Like, there's just a veil that's over a lot of us that just keeps us numb. Like, most of the time, like, when you're an awakened person and you walk around and you start having conversations, you realize people are freaking zombies, okay? Like, they
Mhm.
don't even have a friggin' clue about any of the stuff that's going on, and you're like,
Right.
"How do you not see this?" But then you realize, like, "Yeah, shit, I didn't see it either until
Right.
Mhm.
stuff started happening."
Oh, I
And
did.
so, right, and so, like, I know that this is part of the reason why we started this podcast and why we're being called to do even bigger work as this grows. And Sean, I really believe, like we've talked about, and we didn't even talk to you about this. We were told that this year that there would be 5 more people that would be brought into our, path, into our space, into
Right.
our lives, or back into our lives. You are definitely one of those 5. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Which
like
is
you
weird
just
'cause
landed
I've been
again.
looking for my coven. No, and I didn't mean it by that. I've been telling David I need to. So
I do think, Sean, that you're one of the ones that's called for us. Like I just do. And I'm
Oh,
telling you, there's a big vision that we've
looking
been
for
shown for this, and it's gonna grow. And I think it's exactly like what you're talking about. It's a collection of these people, and I've been specifically shown women. Okay.
Mhm.
Women that all have various gifts, okay, that are going to be brought in together, like you said, like a coven, to then start doing this bigger mission and purpose for people that, I mean, if I
Mhm.
showed you and told you, it'd be like, girl, what are you smoking? Okay. Because
I
it
already
is
know I
pretty
already know
huge.
my role. My role is the shadow witch or shadow healer. I know my role
100%.
very, very, well into where I fit into everybody's because it's just what comes natural to me. Like, I know we talked about it, but I don't actually see things. I don't actually see spirits. I
Mm,
don't actually see ancestors that I know that are speaking with me. Only twice have I actually seen the ancestors, like, actually physically saw an ancestor doing, like, deep candle meditation. So I was told that I needed to meditate. I'm always told that I need to meditate. I have a
yeah,
hard
me
time.
too.
I was told that I needed to
Me too.
meditate, and I did, and I finally sat down, I finally got into it, and I did, I always bring my meditation journal. I need meditation and spirit
Yep.
journal, I keep it,
Yep.
and sometimes I scribe, as I meditate,
Yep.
and as I scribe and as I'm moving, things just get amplified. So I'm
Yep.
sitting there and I'm scribing downstairs at my ancestor altar, I'm doing this, and my cousin comes to me. I always say, "Any ancestors, feel free to come, anything that this is our space. I built this space for you. Feel free to come here. This is
Yep.
our house, right? This is
Yep.
this is our house. Anything, whatever you need. Like I'm here for you. You were
Mm-hmm.
before me. I'm after you, but I'm still here to do the work. So I always make sure that it's a safe space. That everybody is welcome to come. So I'm doing candle meditation. I'm looking into the candle, and I see my cousin who had passed away probably in like 1994, right? I see my cousin and I'm talking to him and he keeps showing me his new grandbaby. I always see babies before they're born.
Wow.
I see babies a lot before they're born. I saw my grandkids. I've seen future grandkids, right?
Mm,
So I always see, and I know that they are for me because when these kids are born and I'm in the delivery room, the doctor turns the baby around so I can see. As the grandmother, like when you're there and your kid,
yep.
it's like you can see, it's shown to me that this child is one of mine, right? Or of my bloodline. So, but
Mm,
this, I didn't have to have that. My cousin came and my cousin just kept saying, "This is my baby. This is my baby." And his baby looked just like him. And like I said, I usually don't see faces. He just kept saying, "This is my baby. This is my baby." And I thought that it was weird. And I did something I never do. I told my cousin, "Hey, your dad came to me with the baby," because my cousin had just told me 5 weeks ago that his wife was pregnant. And I said, "Your
wow.
dad came to me with the baby." And I said, "It's weird because he just kept saying, 'My baby, my baby, my baby.'" And I said, "It's almost like we were borrowing the baby, like she's his." Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't think anything of it at the time. Well, I have another friend in a pregnancy that wasn't gonna be viable, and it was ended very early on, right? So my
Yeah.
cousin didn't have any of these things, goes through thi and, my friend, like my good sister, she reaches out, she says, "Hey, let's go out for the anniversary of what happened, and let's share space, and let's process this." I really
Yeah.
wanna process it with people that went through it with. Very small group, me and her family, we go out, I go home, I go to sleep, 3 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from my cousin. Oh, I have to preference. Before that, I kept getting the most general message ever. It's all connected. And it was
Wow.
nonstop. It's all connected. I don't know about you. I get
Yep.
annoyed with spirit and I'm like, what the fuck is connected? All
Yep.
of it. What part of it?
Yes.
It
Yes.
it is so
Yes.
generic. Of course it's all
Yes.
connected. Are you kidding
Yes.
me? So I go to sleep. I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to my cousin calling me hysterical. Not only did his wife have the baby early, the baby passed away, and now he doesn't know if she is going to make it either, and he is beside himself. Right? Is and again, I'm hearing it's all connected. It's all connected. And I said, okay, so I'm consoling him, and we get through it. He had a little girl. She was a little under 1 pound, and she lived for 45 minutes, and he was
Oh,
really beside himself. And I'm thinking to myself, I seen this baby, I know this baby, right? I know this baby, right? But I did think that maybe this is why I felt like this we were borrowing this baby. I
Yes.
literally say he just kept saying, "This is my baby,
Yep.
this is my baby." And
oh.
he was so possessive of the baby that I was like, it's almost like it's his baby and he's letting us borrow her. And
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So something that I usually don't do, I had told them, and then they were upset. His wife was really upset that I was like this voodoo woman that had put this misfortune on her.
Right.
Right. And that because I had
Didn't.
told, right. Because I had told this story. So the next day I talked to my sister and I say, hey, this happened. And she said, Sean, this is all connected. This is the same thing that happened with me. She said, but the difference is I'm white and I'm a nurse practitioner. She said, they screened me for everything. They made sure. She said, but I think because your cousin is black and she's in North Carolina, they didn't do the same for her. I
Wow.
feel like everything that happened to her was what they told me what happened to me. And
Yeah.
that exactly was. And then I never heard us all connected again after that circled around. And there's been a couple deaths with children. Children have come to visit me. I've never seen these children before ever come to visit me. They show me color, thinking I actually see their faces in children.
Wow.
Now with adults, I never see faces.
Always
I
the
only
children for
see,
me. There's the chills.
yeah,
It's always the kids with me.
I never see adult faces except this one time when my cousin brought his grandbaby. I never see adult faces. It's all in shadows, and the shadows will play it all out like a puppet show. Everything is in
Hmm.
shadows. I know the ancestors there. I have the ancestors' voice, but it's all in shadows. And then I keep being told that I'm a shadow witch, and I said that makes sense because everything in shadows It really is. The shadows make sense. I mean, as
Mhm.
clear as day is if the person was standing there, the
Yeah.
message makes sense. The shadows make sense. It all makes sense. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's possible.
That's crazy.
You
That's
just,
the
Yeah,
thing.
I don't
Right.
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean, I
I
question.
stopped
don't
exactly. I stopped questioning everything.
Yeah.
yeah, I think the more you go with the flow of all of this and the more open you
Mhm.
become and the more intentional you become and the more you start to listen, I don't understand half of the shit that goes on with me most of the time. Like I just am like, okay, listen, I'm just learning. I always thank spirit and my spirit guides, my ancestors for being patient with
Yeah.
me because I'm like, listen, thank you for your patience, but I do see things like so I'm a seer. I do
Mhm.
see things. I usually see things either past or I see things future, which
Okay.
is hard because then you really feel like you're freaking crazy, right? Because I'm like, dude, like how is this even going to make sense? Like how does this tie into this? But
Mm.
I like you, Sean, like I journal. I journal a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff cuz I'm just like, you know
And
what?
then
I'm just going to write it down.
the good part about journaling is then you show people, I wrote this last year. I wrote this last
Exactly.
year. And this is today. This is happening
That's
today, right now.
that's
Exactly.
exactly why I do
I
it.
wrote
That's
this.
exactly.
Like, or like G says, it's a person and everybody is like all enamored with the person. You're like, this person does not resonate with my spirit. And I don't know
Mm-mm.
why. Or you meet
No.
somebody and this person is like all about you. I need to share a space with you. There's so many succubuses. So
Parasites.
there's
Please,
so
the
many
parasites.
have that latched on to me in the
Oh,
beginning of my journey because like you,
Yes.
I'm an only child, so I think out loud. So,
yep.
and then like my husband would say, people say, "Oh, me too, me too,
No.
me too." Right? And you don't
Mm-mm.
and you're like and I'm like, "Oh, this is great. I found my people." Like,
No.
if you feel that way too, because, I
Yeah,
mean, when I said it to somebody, they probably thought I was lying or crazy.
Just an
So I just automatically assume exactly, and that's what it is in these people, and I end up sharing space. But then I'll share space with Kathy, my godmother, and she's like, "No, such and such is a no. They're lying. They have no
that's
gifts.
right.
They're not ascending. This is not okay. Like, this
That's right.
person,
God, the
Sean, no." And
chill.
she'll be like, "Stop, no." And then it'll be crazy because I'll be going to bat for this person, you
Yes.
know,
Uh,
like, "No, I'm telling you, I was with this person and we put heads together like the Wonder Twins and they could see what I could see." But then David was like, "You were saying out loud what you were doing the whole damn
mhm.
time." Like, it
Yeah,
wasn't like this person just told you. Like, you were saying that and there people were just saying, "Uh-huh, uh-huh," and you don't know.
yeah,
So I just
yeah.
usually ask the universe for guidance to keep those people out of my space because
Yes,
I'm only on the mission that I'm on, and I don't have
Exactly.
that's
time.
right.
Sometimes I'm so focused on the mission that I'm not focused on the people and who's there. I know my role. A lot of times
Yep,
I don't know if another person is supposed to play a role in it because I'm so
yep,
busy trying to manifest my own good and stay grounded and stay
yep,
the course of what is needed for me to be the
yep,
game changer in my family
yep.
that get kind of weirdly like linked in with
Mhm.
other people's BS.
Yeah, same. So part of what
Mhm.
we do is, we always talk about like on this podcast too, like we talk about boundaries, we talk about cleansing your energy, we talk about no, like listening to your intuition, because like my intuition will start popping off. Like it could look
Yes.
like, listen, this person could come in and they could be check all the boxes, right? They could be
Mhm.
like kind, and they seem genuine, and they know the language, whatever, and all of a sudden your spirit just starts screaming at you like, no,
Yeah.
no, nope,
Fuck
something
this.
wrong, something amiss, right?
One thing that the ancestors has helped me with is staying aligned and connected through my jewelry, through my ancestral jewelry, through like
Okay.
my liquid beads, and through like all my jewelry that's blessed by a shaman and dressed by the madrina, and these things come to me. I end up and they're like, you need this, or I'll be shown a color and it's like, oh wow, and it's like, they all have something, good health and good fortune, like Oshun, and just everybody, the
Hmm.
Orishas, like everybody. I was really drawn to make a mojo bag, or I was told that I needed some
Mm.
other sort of protection, like a bag of sorts. So I'm
Yep.
collecting all these bags, right? Weirdly, I keep getting all these little leather bags like this and pouches and things everywhere I go. I'm buying them. And then I'm like, cool, cool. After centers, I was like, you have to, okay, universe, I get it. I need my mojo bags. And I made them for all my family. I made them from everybody. Everybody has them. I didn't just protect myself. And David will leave the house if we're going somewhere, we're traveling. I notice he grabs his mojo bag and he puts it in his wallet. And my granddaughter, when she's traveling for cheer, she's like, where's my bag? Like everybody in the family believes in the magic and believes in the protection of like their
Yes.
bag. And
Yep.
the jewelry that
Yes.
comes to me and the stones that comes to
Yeah.
me, right, are so in like we're supposed to be, and I didn't even know, and they heal in ways that I don't, and they help other people heal in ways that I don't. But I do find that I get a lot of I'm always in line for spiritual protection jewelry. And it helps a lot,
Yeah.
I feel like, in really just being
Okay.
out and being open with the world to keep away the people that you are not supposed to share space with, as well as pink yarrow. The pink yarrow essential oil that I drop on my tongue, it allows you to be completely yourself without fear, but also protects you.
Huh.
Also, the pink yarrow is through somebody else that I met. There's so many different kind of healers. I met a young girl that does fragrance healing, and she heals
Oh,
through different fragrances, and she makes like the pink yarrow and the yarrow and all these things to calm your nervous system and to help. And to the yarrow gives you the most vivid dreams. I never dream, right? I don't think I can power down enough to dream.
yeah,
I
I'm
was
either.
told that yeah, I don't dream. So the first time that I took it, my mom came to me, full message, full conversation, full everything. I mean, it just
That's amazing.
amplifies things for you. It'll open things for you that you didn't even know. But I ended up at this healers meeting. I'm in this black healing space with all these different healers. And I was just feeling like I had imposter syndrome. Like, why am I there? I'm a personal trainer, right? These people are mental health professionals. I was in a room full of mostly mental health professionals and drug counselors and people that are used to dealing with crisis. And I was like, this is so different. Like, I'm the only one here that owns a gym. But it wasn't. It was somebody that did herbal essence healing, and it was somebody that did Reiki energy healing. And it was just like this whole community of people. And I learned something through the herbal essence healing. Shout out to my girl Patrice. And it has helped me in so many ways through my stuff. And if for no other reason, I felt like I was there for that. Right?
That's
That's the reason why
amazing.
I was at that meeting. I was there to learn. And Patrice, she lives here. If I think about her, I'll run into her.
Yep. I can't say
I
certain people's names, or like
yeah,
if I speak on a name,
yeah.
all of a sudden
And
they show up.
people manifest me a lot too. I frequent Just Juice a lot, and they're like, Sean, swear to God, we were just talking about you. You just walked in. Or a lot of the other places that they're like, yo, we were just talking about you and you
Yep.
just turned the corner or you just pulled up. And it's like, okay,
That's
cool, cool, cool.
amazing.
So now I just
That's
manifest. I'm
amazing.
so glad I got $1 million. I'm so glad I got this million
Same.
dollars. So glad. Just keep talking about this $1 million, girl. I'm so glad I got a couple $1 million, because if I manifest in people, places, and
Let me
energies,
just tell
I'm a
you,
big
in
fan.
this vision that I've been shown, in this vision that I've been shown of this team in this future, that is a reality. I can't even tell you how it all comes together, but it is big.
I already know because I watched a documentary basically talking about the things that we're talking about now. And it was actually about death. It was crazy because it wasn't even about spirituality in any way. It was about death. But it came to a point with communicating with the dead. And I told you, there's this woman in there and she does trans mediumship. And they're like, Sean, you do that. you do that. And I can feel in my throat. And they're like, you do that. You've done that. You can do that. You do that. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, cool. And then it's like somebody else does something else. And it's like, now I definitely do that. I can definitely
Yeah.
heal it that way. I've done that before. So
Yep.
it's crazy because I feel like we're powerful beyond our own belief. And we just, can you imagine if our parents really nurtured this when we
Yeah.
were younger?
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
listen, we
I was
talk
stood in
about
the
this all
closet.
the time. We talk about this
See,
all the time, Sean.
yes, and this is crazy because I would think about just think about people and thinking about the nurturing of people. You know, people always think Black families are so dysfunctional, right? I was always raised to openly talk about these things. I was always raised to
That's
openly talk about my
amazing.
kids. I was always raised to communicate with whatever is communicating with me in the
Yep.
house, right? Because it's clear phenomena. There's no way that this isn't happening. It's clear phenomena. And my
Yeah.
mother, because she had to give and her grandmother, they're just like, cut that shit out. Stop making all that noise. You're scaring this child. This is too much. Chill out. Right. And that's just how
That's
they
like
would deal with it.
awesome.
Too much. And it's crazy because now that's me. Like in my
Yes.
house, in my
Doing
space,
that with your babies.
my grandmother loves my kids so much and my mother, but I know how it is when they're in your space. They're right here. You feel somebody with you
Yeah.
and it's like they're just staring at you and you know you're not alone. And my grandkids
Yeah.
tell me all the time, I know, but I don't like it. They say all the time, I know it's the ancestors, but I don't like it, G. I don't like when it
Yeah.
happens. So I'm like, Mom,
Yeah.
stop scaring these kids. Grandma, stop scaring these damn kids. Like, come on now. And my spirit guides are kind of, to me, seem ridiculous. Like
Really?
Amani Arenas, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like
Yes.
full on goddesses, like, but it's her. And she shows
Yes.
me things, and I know it's her. Like Saint
Yes.
Michael and Virgin Madonna, like these are the people that straight on communicate me and show themselves and
Yep.
come through my work. And it's like, oh no, it's me. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's me, like, don't be fooled. Let me show you, like, I carry different and they will show me sometimes different pieces, like, Amani will show herself to me in so many different faces and stages, and
Yep.
she'll say, "It's all me.
Yeah.
It's all me. These are
Yep.
all me." And
Yep.
then she'll show me myself
Yep.
in different phases, and it's like, "And this is you." And I wonder if her and I
Yeah.
worked on a team together back in the day, if some reason somehow we were related or
Probably.
we did some work together, and I see, like, Roman doors and statues and things that don't make sense paper. So,
I
thanks for
Fuck yeah.
'cause
Girl.
I've been looking for my team because everything has been saying that I need a team.
Yep.
But it's been so hard for me with a bunch of pick-me's saying, "Oh, no, 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 we have the same thing, we have the same thing."
Shut the fuck
Yeah.
And
up.
then yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then I share space with people. Now, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, at the time that I'm sharing space with people, they've been healing in some way, right? We have definitely been reciprocal to just not be the human that I thought they were at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And cle
I don't know how it all comes together, Sean, but this is definitely the first step. And I've also been shown that, where I've moved kind of out of the area from you guys, I'm also been shown that there is a place coming soon, like a studio space. Start
Yo,
to realize,
what
like,
if we
yeah,
are
I'm
the
not in
hillside of
control.
spiritual
Okay.
kids? Yo, what if we are the hillside version of the spiritual kids? We damn group home spiritual kids, dude.
Stop.
And we got like serious.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh my
There it
God.
is.
Listen.
That's why I just stay quiet. I'm just
I
sitting over
mean,
here
I
like,
tell
okay.
I mean, I deal with a lot of people that are like really in transition or like, would be considered like group home kids or adopted or something like that. And I feel like
Yeah.
that definitely has some correlation because I feel like my spirit guides feel the same way that I do sometimes when I'm dealing with situations that they have to. I am so remedial in things sometimes.
Right.
I am
Right.
so special. And
Same.
then I have to say, well, y'all know I'm special. You picked me.
Mhm.
I don't know how the hell we ended
Exactly.
up. I don't know if you draw the
Exactly.
short straw. I don't know how the hell you ended up with me with a
Exactly.
lineup. Like,
It,
was it a book or some shit? You was flipping you like, she cute, I'll take it. And
All
then found
right.
out I was crazy.
Yeah.
Like online dating. Like, how did you figure?
you
How the
swipe
hell did
right.
you?
You were their Tinder pick. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Yeah, I know.
Like,
None of
our
us know.
spirit guides are really the only ones that can handle us. Like, they
Yep.
are like we are
Correct.
We still challenge them.
Which I
Tell you
still
that
think
right now.
that, I mean, I share a lot of space with a lot of people that I feel like are a lot stronger than me and have manifested their gifts.
What in the hell just
Okay,
happened?
just wrap it up. Just wrap it up because
Okay.
now we're touching and it's
'Cause-
getting bad up here.
The Wonder Twins united.
Okay,
and what
so
had
we're just
It
gonna
was
wrap
really
this up.
bad.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap
Let's
this
pick-
up
now,
before the
I'd love
Wonder
to-
Twins cut out all
Right,
the
listen.
power again.
Next, we gotta do this again soon because I like to see like, how this correlates to like us touching during this interview. I mean, we can't jack the interview up, so we can't do it
Right.
but so much. But
Yeah.
I think this is hilarious.
You and I are going to share
Yeah.
some
You
space
two,
soon.
I'm telling you, you guys are like the freaking Wonder Twins, okay? Whatever the hell you both are gifted with, it's similar. So, like, you get too
It's
much of
karma.
that energy in
Yeah.
the same freaking room, it's gonna explode, okay? Because
It's good.
it's like,
though.
I think we're
Guys,
gonna have
it's
to
a
put
good
you two in
explosion.
separate rooms.
So
Okay.
why?
It's crazy.
Maybe we could just be across the table or something. I don't
Right.
know.
Maybe. I don't know. See,
I like
this
that,
is
but
this
I'm
is
not
why
gonna lie. The energy, like, do you feel a thickness to
Yes.
this, and not a bad way?
Yes.
Like a not a,
Yes.
it's like not a heavy,
wholeness.
like something is wrong,
No.
but there is like definitely like you know how everything is a texture. There's a texture to this. For me.
Correct.
Like this is like heavy in it's a thickness in a good way. Like you know, it's
Yes.
like a good, not even uncomfortable. It's just weird. It's like
It's a bubble.
yo, it's like when a ghost visits you while you're asleep.
You're welcome.
Like that.
Perfect.
I visited her.
Perfect. So for whoever is watching us, we are the texture of a ghost visiting you when you're asleep. So if that doesn't terrify you, thanks, Sean.
Exactly.
That's like a glowing endorsement for the 3Bs,
We
which
can't.
maybe
There we
now
go.
we become the 4Bs. Who knows, right?
I like the number
If you
4
two can get
better.
you
Although
like
I
the
like
number 4
3,
better?
but
Okay.
4Bs go hard.
But that's
Okay.
the thing. Like we're really just one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess you can just
Yeah,
keep
you
us
kind
3.
of are.
It's
I
kinda-
told you, you're
but
like
it's
the
kind of
freaking Wonder
confusing.
Twins.
It's kind of confusing for people that would share space with us or tune into us that we're calling it 3Bs and
Right.
it's 4Bs.
Right.
I mean, we understand. We understand, but the last thing we want to do is confuse.
I also wear sunglasses, so
people.
whatever.
I don't.
Sean, thank you for coming on, sharing amazing stories. Okay, Missy's clapping for
Well,
you.
I love
Yeah,
you.
we
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Dude,
because y'all are
I
touching,
forgot
and the
to
energy
plug my
is like
business while I
freaking
was
out.
here. Even though I'll be back. Look, even though I'll be back, feel free to find me at badassbodiesbyshawn.com, and that is badass with 2 Ds.
Okay, bye. Love you.
See you soon.